Right, hello ladies and gentlemen. We are here for an RTL Classic 2 for the price of 1 panel. We are featuring many of the top European broadcasters with streamers to talk about the future of television within these markets and to talk about how to grow this market as well. So we're going to have actually 2 panels. This is the first one for 20, 25 minutes, and then a second one. I've never done this before. I'm sure it's going to work out fabulously well, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of audience participation in this too. So starting off, we're going to be brief. You're going to explain who you are and what you do, very briefly, but you're going to answer a simple question. You can answer it with a yes or a no. Stefan presented at ECTA, and it actually alerted me to something that we've been thinking about a lot, and it's about the confidence that TV has in presenting itself to the market. It seems like that we're sort of reliant on our negatives, are the things that we do poorly rather than our strengths. So, answer the question, does TV have a confidence issue as you introduce yourself? Maxime, do you want to kick us off?
Yes.
We do?
We do. We need to stand up and to share our strengths to the market. So it's true.
Okay. And do you want to explain what you do?
I lead the marketing, the innovation and the communication for the French market at M6 Publicité.
Okay, Frank, Managing Director at Alliance Germany. So we are a sales house for RTL, focused on radio, linear TV, etc. We had last week in Germany Screenforce Festival, and that is screening of German broadcaster. It was over 1,000 people. We had a huge event, and it went until the night, and it was so fantastic. So I think we don't have a problem. So I'm still overwhelmed by how good it worked out. It was a young target group, a lot of media planners. So I think if we do it properly, if we combine emotional and rational points and information, I think then it really works out.
Ton, do we have a confidence issue?
I'm Ton from Alliance Netherlands and CCO for RTL Netherlands. No, we don't have a confidence issue. We are confident ever and better. And I would say we can still do the magic for the advertisers to be the brand builders for the advertisers. So confident very much.
Okay. Estelle, thank you. Welcome, by the way. Slipping in on last minute. Love that.
I'm Estelle. I'm leading at sales department for Warner Bros. Discovery in France. And of course, we believe on TV because we are broadcaster and streamers, and we will work now in synergy with both media.
So do you believe TV has a confidence issue? Are you with the Germans and the Dutch here, or are you with the French?
With the French team.
Okay. So you're French. You believe that they have a confidence issue or not? You think TV is standing up to its positives or heavily relying on its negatives too much?
No. Linear business has secular pressure, but it's still a long runaway. It's the most trusted media in France. We have 4 hours and 30 minutes of video watching, and TV represents 70% of this time. So it's a really referent media in France.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the facts do suggest that TV is it's down about 4 minutes, I think, is what the slide that Stefan presented. But there was also some other research that Dr. Grace Kite came out with. It was about how TV is perceived by buyers, that it's not fashionable. When you look at the effectiveness, particularly of linear TV versus the spend in more fashionable media, which is like social TV, you're being outbought by a less effective media. So how do you make TV cool again?
Well, I think, as she said, first, the figures never lie. We represent 70% of the time spent on the video landscape in France. So this is very strong.
You're underinvested in. That's the point. We know the facts are strong.
Yes, but the new is always better than the old, and we have this old cap on the head, and it's difficult to change mentality. But at the end of the day, I think TV is actually reinventing itself. TV is now on CTV. TV is offering new streaming platforms, very competitive, with cool features, with IA, with interactive content. So I think its mentality are changing. It's just the way we tell the story that has to change as well. We don't need to forgive ourselves to be an old media. We are actually a very strong media, and we need to share the story to everybody.
Frank, do we need to change our story?
So I'm very much with you. So I think TV is already digital. I think we have to underline that. And it's a lot about transformation TV. So we have to change our technical approach. And we have probably to change, at least in Germany, also the pricing system. But all in all, the effectiveness is still very strong. So
When you say the pricing system, what do you mean? Charge more?
Definitely, I always want to charge more, but it was more the pricing in itself. So we are in Germany spot by spot right now. So it's so when it's about linear TV, and I think we have to open up a little bit more for CPM models or pricings.
Okay, we're going to come on to that. And actually, Ton, I'm going to talk to you about JICs and the sort of established way that we have of measuring TV. These two worlds are colliding in some ways, aren't they? Where we have, I believe, a very robust way of measuring TV now. Actually, people who viewed the ads and how long they've been viewed for and what programs they went under. But clients are wanting more digital metrics around outcomes and all that sort of stuff. So firstly, you're obviously measured by JIC in Holland. Are you pleased with the level of innovation within Holland?
Not at all. I'm kind of pissed off by the speed and the lack of speed of the JICs. Especially the advertisers and agencies are asking for a lot of extra metrics in order to introduce some things. Right now, we're at the moment of introducing addressable advertising in Holland, and there's always a difference between the panel and the census data, and we would like to introduce this as it is right now, learn from it, do it, and adapt it if possible. And right now, we have to go back to the operators again to ask for the census data, etc. So they look for cross-media data. I don't give a fuck about cross-media data. I only interested right now in total video. So combining linear TV with on-demand, with linear streams, but also with our lady next to me. We are representing HBO Max as of last week in Holland, as we are doing that for Sky Showtime as well, which is Paramount Plus in other countries. So the combination with linear TV on the big screen combined with the SAVOD, we call it subscription advertising video on demand. That's the ideal combination, and it completely changes our storyline in a positive way.
So you should really tell us how you really feel, and how has that gone down with the JICs though? If you've obviously said that, and you said it publicly because you said it on this stage, they're aware of how you feel. How are they responding to that?
Well, at this moment we are in a lot of talks and negotiation again about the future. As Screenforce, because we have Screenforce in Holland as well, we would like to speed up, and this way is not going forward. So either we break away from the JICs and we do it ourselves, together with some other partners on video, but not with this very difficult approach.
So you'd build your own panel and do it on your own?
Yeah, that could be an alternative, yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty extreme. I didn't expect that. Estelle, how do you guys come? Because you come in these markets as a digital proposition, and you've obviously got traditional linear channels too. Do you tie up with the JICs and how TV is generally measured and traded in these countries, or do you come with a more digital offering?
In France, Mediametry is the referent. So I know that they are striving to extend the scope of audience measurement to cover all kind of viewership. Our REP Canal Brand solution works with Mediametry on measuring additional reach provided by platform campaign to a linear TV campaign. We also many discussions with Mediametry. I think it's very important to have a single measurement, a single authority to reassure the market, the media market.
So other streamers in other markets, we've got Disney here later who are joining obviously Barb and Thinkbox, the actual trade bodies. Is that exactly what you're looking to do, to join those existing sort of incumbent independent bodies?
We will discuss all together.
Yeah, that's a yes or a no question, but it's a maybe.
It might be.
It's a maybe. Maxime, how's it going in France? Mediametry is obviously highlighted as a trusted force. Happy with them? Are you with Ton or are you in between?
We strongly believe in Mediametry, in an independent measurer, because I think we don't want to be like the US market, you know, with the Babel Tower of currency.
No one
and
wants to be like
KPIs.
the US.
The idea is to have one independent measurement, and I think advertisers should rely on this measurer, because if you have different stories, different way to measure, it's impossible to know who is true and who is not. So we believe in mediometry. I think as an industry, we made a lot of progress recently. Collaboration is working. Of course, it's always too slow. Everybody would like to have a cross-video measurement today. It's not the case. It will be next year. But at the end of the day, as an industry, we work very well. We launched 4 years ago addressable TV in France with the telco, with Mediometry, with all the stakeholders. It's working very well. So I think we are making great progress. And as an industry, we need Mediometry to be the only measurer on the market.
Frank, how about in Germany?
We just released IAF Cross Reach, which combines linear TV with digital video, but also in-page. So we at least can, on a format level, can really show reach and which kind of incremental part comes from digital. So that is pretty good. But we are not on the campaign base right now. So I'm not pissed, but I'm impatient, because we really need this to track the campaigns. But at least we have now a kind of system in where we can show the bird's eye perspectives.
Yeah, keep the microphone closer, just so we can hear you. But so, are you saying you want to go more into the sort of outcomes and client by client measurements basis? Is that what clients are looking for in your market?
I didn't get the question.
Are clients looking for more of an outcomes based approach, a more digital sort of relationship with you, so you can monitor success of campaigns individually?
Yes, definitely. I think almost every advertiser wants you with every campaign to get a kind of effectiveness add-on or whatever. Yeah. And I think we do also our own monitoring. It's kind of contact report where you can right now show on the campaign level which part was incremental to linear TV, for example. Was it addressable TV, or was, and that is very important, and we constantly work on it.
Ton, the cross-media measurement question, you mentioned it, that you don't give a shit about it. But what does that mean? Like, they're coming to all these markets. You know, obviously there's Origin, and I think the announcement in the US is that they're spinning off their own cross-media measurement. Are you working with them? Like, I think my big issue is with a lot of it is like most of these markets can't sustain 2 panels effectively in these markets. Do you see it coming to Holland, and how do you see that impacting the existing JIC there?
Well, at this moment we are working in JIC. We used to work without a JIC as Screenforce. We had our own measurement system in the past. So if you look at total video and we have to present through Kantar or GfK or whatever, Nielsen, the new metrics to the market, I'm interested in total video. And advertisers right now are asking us about radio, about out of home, about print, etc. And those combined media, I'm not interested at a very short term for myself. So I'm interested in total video. The lack of speed with addressable advertising, linear streams, etc. is, well, very negative for us. So we really would like to measure the linear streams with the operators, because there's a lot of inventory over there which we are not able to monetize to the market. And that's our main interest, I think, I would say, for the next 2 to 3 years.
And I guess to all of you, can you ever see YouTube joining any of these established JICs at all, or is that just dead? Should we just stop talking about that because it's not going to happen? Maxime, Frank,
Well,
it will not happen.
it won't happen.
It won't happen.
Okay, fine.
Won't happen.
Okay,
We have spent a lot of time with them, and they're always backing off at the last moment. So I'm not spending any time with them anymore.
Yes, same in Germany. Exactly.
okay, Maxime, same France.
it's complicated.
It isn't though, is it? Really, it's just like will they or won't they?
But it's right. It's not so complicated. It's definitely, and I don't understand. I personally don't understand why advertisers never make a bit more pressure on that.
Well, advertisers at the moment are funding their own cross-media measurement based on the MRC standard of 2-second, impression. I don't understand why they would finance that when you've got an existing system in place that measures the 30-second ad. I don't get it personally. But Estelle, do you have a view on this? Work with YouTube? Don't work with them in the measurement context?
Like Maxime, it's complicated in France now.
Okay, last question. The survival of JICs. 5 years' time, will they all be around? Maxime, yes or no?
Well, I hope so in France because we'll need a place to discuss all together. So I hope it will still exist.
Frank?
If we get a campaign measurement, then yes. If not, then no. Yes, no.
Okay, depends.
In the next 3 years, yes, and then at the end of the contract, no.
Okay, Estelle?
Yes, synergy would be great.
Okay, let's talk about collaboration because this is like the key for broadcasters to really evolve their proposition. I think we all agree TV industry has sort of one common enemy, if you like, and working together has been a key sort of like mandate for the industry. Frank, are we terrible at working together in this industry? And I know you've got a historic agreement finally with ProSiebenSat, which we've talked about for years.
Yes.
But tell us what agreement you have, and then answer whether we are fundamentally poor at collaborating in the TV world.
So I don't find us that bad because we finally made it. So we have to celebrate that.
Did it take too long though?
Yes, it didn't. It took much too long. Yeah. So, but we can't change it. Now we celebrate ourselves that we at least made it.
So can you explain a little bit what that collaboration means around the buying and the...
It's a technical cooperation. So we built a tech stack. It's called AdTech Made in Europe. It's an open standard. It's against the American tech platforms. It's especially for video content. And it's behind the transformation of linear TV towards a digital business or logic behind. So that is, if you make it very short and snappy. I can talk 30 minutes about it, but I think you don't want that.
No, that's fine. Maxime? No, I think we understand. So it's a common buying platform. You're using consistent tech.
Exactly.
What's interesting is about how aggressive you're being about US tech. Do you mean US tech providers, or do you mean the US platforms?
US platforms.
Okay, but tech is invited to pitch you and demonstrate what they can do. But ultimately, when Oliver was on stage yesterday, he was very keen to say this is a European technology stack, and it's a European media buy. And is that important to the sell to your buyers?
Yes, I think so. So I think it's more confident, it's more trustworthy for European broadcasters. I think so.
Maxime, do you play well with your competitors?
Well, I think it's always it can be better, of course, but you don't need to forget that TV is a market with competitors within this market. So we can't do what we want. We're our competitors. So at the end of the day, I think we are doing pretty much good things. But the legislator is not letting us what we would like to do. So sometimes we can't discuss on several topics because it's just not possible because of the law. Yeah. And you can't go against the law. So we need to be very cautious on the topics we discuss. And I think the past show that some initiatives doesn't work. Like, for instance, the launch of Salto was a very good idea. It's a common AVOD platforms. But the legislators made so many barriers that it was impossible to lead for the stakeholders, so it didn't work. But if we talk about the French market, the advertising video market, I think we are doing quite good. Yeah. But of course, there are limitations, and Google is not talking to Meta, is not talking to Snap, etc. They are not talking together either. So
they don't need to. They have scale.
Yeah, but we're an industry. We're not a player, so we need to find interest. We're trying to find common point on the measure sides. Yeah. But if you talk about price, it's impossible to find an agreement on the CPM or GRP or things like that. It's just not possible because of the law.
Is your market moving to a CPM model?
Actually, we thought about it for many years, but we decided not to go because CPM is a currency. It's very interesting to compare, but what we have to compare, we estimate as better quality than others. So a video impression has not the same value in TV and on YouTube, and that's the whole point. So GRP is the best indicator to measure audience coverage and things like that for our clients, and we believe CPM would be would have a bad impact for the market.
And very quickly, yes, no answer. Could you see yourselves together with TF1, Canal Plus, having a common buying platform in France?
Actually, if you ask my opinion, I think it would be great, but I'm not sure it will be possible. Okay.
Last question to you, Ton. Common buying platform between Dutch broadcasters? Yes or no?
Definitely yes.
It will happen, yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is over with part one. Thank my speakers here, and the other speakers, please come up on stage. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Put the microphones down. And as the speakers come up on stage, we're going to be talking about growing the market. That's it. If you hand them over to the other speakers. Hello, Mark. The TV, from my opinion, the TV market here has been flooded with a tremendous amount of inventory. Is that good? Is that bad? That's up for debate. And at the same time, I believe TV is flat, or if you believe the analysts, it's going down. So at the moment, there's more supply, but perhaps less demand. What do broadcasters and streamers do about that? So Mark, what I want to understand is the TV market actually growing? Because a couple of weeks ago, we were at the ECTA event, and Rita from Disney seemed to think it was growing. I have doubts about that. So Mark, from what you're seeing, is the TV market growing? Is it flat? Is it declining?
First of all, I love the fact you're not wearing shoes, Justin.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's just, yeah.
You all do that.
The Group M numbers that came out a couple of weeks ago showed that obviously the market is growing. The forecast 7.8% for digital. It's going to grow to 1.1 trillion by the end of next year. So we're a year ahead of what we were thinking a year ago. So the total pie is growing, but from NBC Universal perspective, we are seeing growth across our business. And that is in part down to our strategy, which is the fact that NBC Universal isn't just, scripted or unscripted. It's not just sports or entertainment. It's not just movies or TV. It's everything. And the way that we've unified our offering to marketers to serve their needs and to deliver value on their investment is allowing us to move with the ebbs and flows of the marketplace. So we do believe there's growth.
The pie is growing. Is the sentiment growing? Stefan?
Slightly growing.
Slightly.
Slightly growing, especially in linear. If you add up online or streaming, I think it's growing a little bit higher or faster. What I see, though, is there are more and more offers on the market, more fragmentation, more players that want to grasp a piece of the TV pie. That's really clear, too.
Deb?
Just want to say you should have made more an effort with your toes.
Someone stood on my... bloody hell, I know we'd be talking about my bloody feet.
I've broken one.
Someone stood on my toe playing football. That's why they look like that.
I've broken one of mine.
Yeah.
So there, I beat you, hands down.
I'll get
Thank
a
you,
penny.
everybody, for bearing with the heat. I'm Deborah. I'm from Disney. Market's growing. The rate depends on where you are. So linear has still got a lot of legs in markets like Central and Eastern Europe, Southern Europe. So it's a big depends. Obviously, within markets where you've got higher SVOD penetration, money's following, and BVOD penetration, the money's following the eyeballs. So the broadcast VOD services are growing much faster than linear. All of this is bloody obvious. Sorry, but there you go. And we're really, really happy. We've launched, as you know, a streaming, our Disney Plus with advertising in 9 territories. We've taken money out of the market, really happy. And our broadcast business, actually, even though in some markets we're rationalising that, is flat across the 5-year plan. So we are super excited. TV's growing and it's fabulous.
Fabrice, are we growing? Are we taking linear spend into digital environments and growing by numbers because we can charge more in digital? Or are we actually growing and bringing more buyers into the ecosystem?
So first, Justin, thank you for inspiring us. Huh? You think? It's growing. It's growing, and it's growing a lot. I mean, I may be different because it's been years that we have the decline in the linear ratings. At Canal Plus, we've been fighting to give some value to some live events. So in the bulk part of it, it's really hard. In some part of it, like sports, like movies, new movies, and so on, we managed to get some more value. And then the digital part of it, as everybody mentioned, is really growing. And as Estelle mentioned before, we are also partnering with third parties to get a higher size. And then, yes, it's growing.
It's growing. But when you look at the entire ecosystem, especially in Europe, there's a lot of broadcasters that are just ad-funded. And there's a lot of supply coming on the market, and that is before all the sort of extra CTV and the long tail of CTV comes into it. I don't want this to be overly negative, but can you see all those broadcasters surviving? I guess a quick yes, no across the board, and then we'll go on to the next question. What do you think, Mark?
I think we've all got to move fast today. Yes.
All surviving?
I think that we've all got work to do to transform the way that our business operate and the way in which we collaborate. I think a couple of days ago at the ECTA event that Cathy and the team produced, Evan Shapiro did a fantastic job bringing to life the value that TV companies like ours provide. And when you look at the totality of the marketplace, there's real evidence from a research perspective to show that the outcomes that we can have across all total video is immensely strong. Globally, marketers are always asking us for simplicity. And to do that, Evan Shapiro underscored the need for us to transform and collaborate in a radical fashion. And I think that's something that we will have to do.
Okay, and I'll move on to the next question here. But Brian Weezer also argues that TV companies need to be a platform, like a global proposition, in order to go back to a growth medium. Is that something that you subscribe to?
Well, from our perspective, from a European perspective, yes, we see the international side or the global side of things growing. On the linear side, on TV side, I think the buying and the system is still very local from a buying perspective, an agency perspective. But we see also more appetite for global, multi-market, multi-regional deals at client level or at agency level, especially in digital, because digitization allows you to execute in a different way than TV used to be bought. That's undeniable, and from an efficiency perspective, I could hear across the industry there's a need for lower costs. So I think there's an appetite for more globalization. When it comes to the first question I would like to answer as well is, do we think there will be more consolidation or death around the TV companies? I don't think there will be any death. I think there will be some more consolidation, for sure. Look at what's happening in the US. In Europe, I don't know. But what I see is, from an international perspective, there's a need for more a consolidated marketplace, a place where you think it's safe to buy premium inventory and to buy in a very simple way. That is really necessary in my view.
Yeah, Mark, you work on this as your role is global. Is it realistic, given how specialized TV is and how local it is? Is that really a realistic goal? And how much time do we have to put something like that together?
So it does work. I mean, Stefan and his team and our team already work today bilaterally, and it does work. The part that we need to get better at is the operations behind it. To your point, Stefan, the simplicity of which the customer is asking for. One Platform Global, and what we launched last year is the beginnings of that. In the US, One Platform over the last couple of years has been powered by Freewheel, has been tremendously successful in terms of how NBC Universal goes to market. I think internationally, with Deb and Fabrice and Stefan and all of the other partners out there, there is real opportunity for us to collaborate. So we feel quite strong about working together and transforming the way that we go to market.
Okay, that's nice, but is it realistic, and how long do we have to do it?
So, as I say, this time last year, we launched the One Platform Global proposition.
Yeah.
We launched it a couple of weeks ago officially out to the market. There are deals out there running, so it's live. And the conversations that we're having this week are continuing to evolve. And at the TV retreat yesterday for Freewheel, we met with many of the TV companies there. And I think we're all saying the same thing. So I think everyone recognises, to the actors' key message at the event a couple of weeks ago, we need to move fast, and we are moving as fast as we can. I think from a customer perspective, when you look at some of the other platforms, their simplicity of a simple buy button is what we need to go and build globally. And that's complex because there are various stakeholders in every country with different ways of doing business. So it's going to take time. But to your point, we have to move fast.
Have to be fast. Right. Deb, streaming services, Disney Plus. You're like, you're like the fashionable one at the party.
Always.
Aren't you? So where's the Disney Plus ad dollars coming from? You sell linear services too. And you've got buyers, obviously, after Disney Plus. It's a great ad product. Where's the money coming from?
So in Europe, we're selling in 9 territories today in Europe. And to be honest, it's coming principally today from the TV market. TV buyers really understand the quality of it. But the reality of the business is we're making it as interoperable as possible, as easy to buy as possible. And as long as the supply that's coming in through from the digital market adheres to our quality standards, we'll be happy to take it. And by the way, that will grow. And I'm just going to answer it very quickly, actually, because I realise that these have to be snappy. I could go on, Justin, but I won't.
But that's fine. What I'm wondering with these digital services, which are strong propositions, not are we taking money out of linear, how do we take money off social? How do you take it out of other mediums where clients are over-indexing in?
Yeah, it's going to happen over time because the reality of any advertiser knows just the very high quality of TV. I mean, I could bang on for ages just about viewability, big brand environment, the fact that it's safe, all of those things. And I think that we're getting noisier about it. And that's the reality. TV's brilliant. And I think that any marketeer is smart and they know that. What they need, though, is that they've been so used to outcomes-based solutions that's what they really want. And so there's no silver bullet in this. Television just has to take the best of digital, combine it with what it does really, really, really well, and we'll be golden. The reality is it can't happen the other way around, which is why I think we'll be absolutely golden.
Fabrice, Disney Plus, they're taking your linear dollars. Are the global streamers, such as Disney, are they friends or are they foes?
They're friends.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Why? Okay.
You were asking before between the global way of selling TV. I'm not a believer in terms of trading. I mean, everybody can see it. I can tell you that, Mike, we're about to join the NBCU Association of Selling Internationally, but it's nothing. What I do believe in right now is the storytelling. What we have to bring in global players, because many times we have advertisers that are global. They come to France, for instance, and they come with their own storytelling, with their homeland storytelling. So let's say US, for instance, with a huge decline in linear advertising. So they believe the same happens in Europe, which is not the case. So I do believe that we need to align on storytelling. Trading is not happening because of currencies different and so on. What Netflix, then Disney, brought to the market is excellent storytelling about content. Maybe we forgot about that on TV. We're selling bulk, and then they came back with a story about content. And the fact that we are selling Max in France, which is the first time ever a platform is gathering with a TV sales house, means that it's still local, because Warner Brothers is selling by themselves in the US, you know. So I would make a difference between that, and that we all have to fight against. I mean, what you were saying in the part one, we have to fight against YouTube. Actually, we're the good ones, you know, the content guys.
Can I just say something as well? Is Disney's been operating in Europe since decades and decades and decades. We believe in the power of partnerships. We're part of local ecosystems. We're a content licensing business. We have franchise. We co-produce content. We are linear businesses sold by RTL in Holland. We believe in the vibrancy of local ecosystems. So we're not out there to say, oh, we've only got 10% of the market, we want the rest. We're going to be, how do we work together? Partnerships is fundamental to growing the pie overall.
Well, speaking of partnerships, also partnerships with the platforms are probably essential too. They've got huge audiences there. I know NBCU and others, you work with them. I believe RTL, you distribute content on YouTube. Can you make money from distributing on YouTube? How do you manage those partnerships? Mark?
So the relationship with our platforms is long in history, and it's still today very strong and important for us. I think depending where you sit in the business, marketing is obviously different to distribution, different to monetization, but overall we're leaning in. I think good example this week, the usage of not just YouTube, but also some of the other platforms that we announced this week with our Paris creators. There's going to be, a series of creators on YouTube, for an example, that will be live at the Olympics, bringing to life through their culture and through their connections. And for our marketers, that is a tremendously valuable association together with NBC Universal's access at both the Paris Olympics and the Paralympics. So we absolutely are leaning into working with our partners like that.
Okay, is that an audience play, as in to attract the audiences that are on that platform, or can you make money from it?
It's both. You have to do both.
Okay. Can you make money from it?
I disagree. So, no, how do we see social media or YouTube in particular as a partnership? I think there are two ways of seeing things. There's content distribution, connecting with your audience, and obviously everyone has a social media account, everyone is going on YouTube or Meta or whatever. That's clear, it's here to stay, no problem. You want to talk about our IPs or shows or whatever, you want to discuss on it, you do that on social media, or you go on social video to see snippets, as you say in English, or short form video. So it's good for content, I would say, distribution. From a sales perspective, I think it's very hard. YouTube and Google have been tremendously looking at themselves, not opening up, and it's very difficult to make good business with them, for sure. So we will not focus on that. We need to focus on our premium content, long form, our expertise, and we need to define a global marketplace where we can find premium content in an easy way and make it very easy to buy for the advertising community.
Are you uncomfortable putting your premium content on their platforms? Is that what you're saying? You're giving them a sort of false legitimacy?
It's not false legitimacy. I think from a content perspective, it makes sense that we can share and like and stuff, online, in video or on social media. I think it makes sense. But from a sales perspective, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay, Disney have got a different attitude towards it, and I was informed that ESPN on TikTok is like the #1 brand on that platform for people liking and sharing sports and stuff. So have you got a different attitude to how you work with these platforms from also a tech perspective and as a partnership for distribution?
Yeah, so we're an enormous company, right? And so we approach our business in a multifaceted way. So clearly, our fans want to consume our content in many, many ways. We have hundreds of millions of views every single day for Disney content, whether it's sports, whether it's movies, whatever it is, social media, and we want our fans to be able to access it, right? So we should be there, and it's a fantastic promotional tool. In terms of working with, I think you're probably referring to Google and things like technology. We have our own ad server, and we also use Google Ad Manager. The reality is we do what works best at any particular instance for what we're trying to achieve. And I think that the reality is when it comes to competing for advertising revenue, though, we're very, very clear. Look, we provide premium environments with all the proper metrics that is trusted and is a brand environment second to none. However, if an advertiser wants to operate through DV360 to buy their campaigns, we want to allow that customer to operate the way that they want to operate. So it's complicated, but in general, I will always stand up every day of the week and say, telly is a fabulous environment, and I do believe that we don't need to compete because we're much better from an advertising perspective.
Same attitude, Fabrice?
That question is a naughty one. For content, we are a pay TV company, so we need also to tease to get new subscribers. So we do put some content on YouTube. We monetize it. Not a good situation because we want to sell more expensive than YouTube. YouTube is selling obviously less cheaper. So it's a competition towards advertisers. They bring data we don't bring. So it's not an easy one, but it still make money. The social, we don't monetize it. And tools is a very, very tough one. We didn't make the decision to go on DV360 so far because it's just, I don't know you say in English, you put the finger, and then the whole arm, How do you say that?
You can explain that to me later, but I believe you for now.
So you want to keep them at arm's reach, is what you're saying. You don't want to put the hen in the chicken.
On the tool side, yes.
Yeah.
On the tool side.
So what about the performance market? It's been talked about quite a lot to grow the market. TV inherently goes after big brands. They do brand building and all that sort of stuff. Do you think TV can make a better job of going after the SME market, or is that just unrealistic from a sort of creative perspective? Mark?
We see it a real thing. So the outcomes business is a real thing. I think the way that we're transforming as TV companies is to become full funnel. And I think the example that Mark Marshall, our chairman, gave at our upfront a few weeks ago with Domino's, taking our unified ad stack and working with Domino's in a different way and using the data and the measurement capabilities across our unified aggregated supply, increase the sale of pieces by 38%. So using our supply in total and offering, audiences and audience buys is a meaningful way of doing an outcomes business for performance, yes.
Yeah, it's known that broadcasters are splitting their spend 50-50, 60-40, 40-60. Doesn't it make sense for TV to go after that bucket?
I don't understand your question, I'm sorry.
To go after the performance spend bucket.
Performance spend. SME, okay.
Could be SME, it could be
whatever.
any client who's trading on those principles.
No, for us, SME is a part of our strategy. We have an SME business already in Germany, for example. I think it's linked to digitization of TV and especially the linear feed. So the more we will be into an addressable way of connecting our content to the users, and when everything will be ad served, I think you can really step and open up to a lot more categories of clients, including SMEs. We do that already using HBB TV technology in Germany. It's working pretty well and allows us to have a greater, I would say, collaboration with retailers, for example, across country, where they have regional activities, etc. So this is a way to expand the cake and to grow the cake.
Yeah, and it's working. You can actually see the results from it. It's working.
Course. Yes, it's working pretty well.
Okay. That's the SME market. Now, before we give these guys a round of applause, before you do that, we are going to watch a video and be followed by another panel, which is going to be chaired here by Louise. This video is an important sort of introduction of what TV does, not just for the media industry, but also for society. So bid these guys a massive round of applause for their appreciation. And cue the music. Cue the video.
This is a story about Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hey. He's a brand director.
Nice suit, by the way. Fine.
Now, Alex was keen that his brand should grow. So he spoke to Sam, who works at a TV sales house, and showed how to best reach many people and make them love the brand with a perfect TV campaign. So that's exactly what they did. Wait. Was that a singing cat? That's right. The campaign featured a singing cat, and people loved it, shared it, talked about it, memed it. In fact, Alex's campaign was shown next to premium programs, so its power was multiplied. Now, other brands saw Alex's success, and they decided that they too would like to make a big splash on TV. Which meant even more great ads. And when TV channels have more great ads, they can make more great television. Engaging entertainment. And documentaries. Great sports. Trusted news. One big virtuous circle with brilliant brands and ace TV sales and premium content and people like you and Alex and Sam. Oh, and not to forget, of course,